this is Katuke Monique, the optimistic realist, here to tell you that men and women are different, and these are not fighting words. If we break it down into science, women, of course, have 2 X chromosomes, and men have 1 X chromosome and a Y. Now, we don't have to get that technical, but just to jump off into a point that I would definitely like to drill home. Because men and women are different, we actually supplement and complement one another when we come together in our bond. We enjoy a lot of things the same, but we also enjoy a lot of things different. And I am noticing that, unfortunately, the relationships that have provided too much poison and toxicity actually transfers into a hurt person, and that hurt person takes it into their future relationship at times. So we're all delicate people, and that can sometimes be a misnomer to construe men as not having emotions just because they are not women. Men and women, both the same, have emotions, and that's okay. We like that. We like that. And as long as we can communicate and come together peaceably, again, not fighting words, then that's all right. Let's take, for instance, there are actually a lot of men and women that are perfect for someone out there. And whether that man or woman is damaged from a previous relationship, that's actually going to reflect in their behaviors. So you may have to practice some patience when getting to know that individual. Take, for instance, I myself, I do not like the moniker, oh, that is a good man or that is a good woman, because they're actually only men and women and only boys and girls. Now, usually boys and girls are like 12 and under, 16 and under, 18 and under. You're getting to be a young adult, teenage. But for us grown-ups, you know, those 25 and up, when you are in a grown-up body but still exhibit behaviors that may be considered childish, it's not that you're not a good man or a good woman. It's just that you are displaying boy and girl characteristics, and therefore I'll need to characterize you as a boy or a girl, a grown-up boy or a grown-up girl, but still not quite a woman and not quite a man at that time. I can understand if it's been due to the hurt or anything like that. That comes and goes. People do get hurt, so I can understand that. But aside from being hurt by previous relationships, it's actually your choice as an adult to pull out of that relationship prior to exposing yourself to too much harm. Let's be honest. You really don't want to go into it expecting any harm, because who goes into a relationship wanting to hurt someone unless they really are toxic poison? And that is not cool. You don't want to do that. So again, the differences between men and women are there to make us a complementary angle. Cohesiveness. You need that 45 degrees here and 45 degrees there, or 60 degrees here and 30 degrees there, to create that right angle. I like mathematics, by the way. Men, you guys are awesome, and I want you to know that your masculinity is awesome, as is your manhood, and the fact that you were created to be leaders of a certain caliber and certain extent. And I want you to be secure in walking into that light, because unfortunately the New Age feminist movement has began to erode mentally for some women the differences between men and women. Take, for instance, there's an author of a marvelously written book called Brainwashed, and he spoke on the propensity that the screens, such as television, cell phones, Facebook, things of that nature, can play into one's mental development. And if someone has been exposed to a lot of negative influence in their formative years, and it seems as though formative years has stretched well beyond the age of 7 and 12 and 18, because there's so much influence this day and age, because we have the ability to expand past so many borders in such an inkling of time. So with this brainwashing influence, propensity to not be patient enough to understand one another, comes a lot of hurt and misinformation because of the misconception that we have about one another. Now again, yes, men and women are different, and these are not fighting words, but we actually both experience the same emotions. It's just all how you process these emotions. Now, I have seen men process their emotions with raw emotions. That means you just express the emotion as you feel it. Or they can also express their emotions with words, verbally, and they can just tell you why they are happy. They can tell you that they are happy and why, or they can tell you that they are sad and why. And I've met women the same way, that they can either express their emotions raw with emotion, or they can choose to express their emotions with words. I prefer the expression of words with your emotions, because that leads to less volatility and allows for more understanding. And let's be honest, the best way to get an understanding of one another is communication. And I know we hear a lot about lack of communication damaging a relationship. It really is true. You have to be able to understand each other, and most times you get that understanding using words, and not the fighting words, just regular words that you want someone to understand where you're coming from, with love, adoration, and respect. These things are very important, and if they are lacking, that could hurt anybody. So let's take the time to really evaluate things, really evaluate where someone is coming from, and use as much patience as possible. I myself am not a very patient person. And men, I definitely want you to understand, looks are not everything. They fade. They change. You know, I myself, I don't wake up looking like this. And although there are so many nice on the outside looking people in today's society, what's in here? You know, what's in here? How are they going to mesh with your family, your friends, and your other life circumstances? What type of understanding are they going to be able to garner about you as a person? Because you do have to let someone in your head somewhat to get to know you, and the only way they can get in your head is by you expressing with your mouth or writing it down on paper. Some people remember better when you write it down for them. So again, men and women are quite different. I didn't really want to go into a whole lot of differences because it's very obvious unless you're a blind fool and have, you know, a propensity to be easily brainwashed. You got to see what's behind the lines, what's between the lines, behind the letter. Sometimes you have to do some digging, and not all the information you receive today is clear-cut, and a lot of it is not even for your own benefit. So you got to be wise about this. Don't go out here to try to hurt others. And I would advise something about guarding yourself, but sometimes when you guard yourself, you can be restrictive and standoffish. Well, that's all I have for you today. Again, I'm Katuke Monique, the Optimistic Realist, and I really appreciate you subscribing and tuning in.